Okay, so you've chosen to continue with the layer by layer and see how exactly to do that. So that's what we're going to do next. Well, the next part is actually kind of easy with this third layer, or it does get a little tricky with the third layer, but not the first part. So the first part is to finish these, which really means finishing your 2x2 solve, and that's pretty easy. So go ahead and finish your 2x2 solve. At the end of the day, you're not going to mess any of your first two layers up. So I'm going to just finish up the 2x2 solve. I don't know that I really need to go into how to do that. In this case, I'm going to first off rotate all of these. I'm going to do rotation of the last layer. In this case, R, U, R, I, U, R, 2, U, R, I. They're all rotated right. Now I just have to do permutation. So corner swaps to R, U, to R, U, I, to R, to R, U, I, to R, U, to R. There's going to be two that are in, which is this. Now again, if it's just confusing you, I'm just doing a 2x2 solve, and now these are in. No worries. Okay, so this is the next part, which might get a little tricky. Now we have to put these guys in order to fulfill the challenge. And it's really the same thing. It's sliding U techniques, only you have to be very careful about how you position and reposition things and what you're actually moving. So let's say we want to do this one. We want to do the orange and blue. We want to move this one in here. So first we find it. Well, here's an orange and blue here. This will slide nicely into here. However, I can't just sliding U technique bring that here and then move it out this way. And the reason is because this will participate in it. So I got to move a different piece into this position. So where am I going to find it from? Well, I can't find it from anywhere down here. So maybe I can find it through, well, I got to put something else in here. So maybe I can move one of these down like this. So I'm going to move this down over here, and I'm going to put this into this spot over here. I just got to remember to move it back. So let's sliding U technique this over to here. So down on the right. Now I got to remember the one that where I slide it from is the one that moves this center. So we're going to slide it to the left, then from the middle, down on the left, back to the right, up on the right, back to the left, up on the left, and remember to move this back. All right, so once I've done that, now I have to remember to go ahead and move this back over here and splat. So now you can see this is in. So you did it. Now going based on the success of that one, let's see if we can do another one. So I want to do the other orange and blue. Let's find it here somewhere. Orange and blue, right over here. Same thing. This can slide into here, but I got to move something else in this position, which means I got to move something else into here. Why don't I use one of these? If I move this down here, this is not in yet, so I'm just going to move this down over here, and same thing. Down on the left, slide it to the right, down on the right. Back to the left, up on the left, back to the right, up on the right, and back. And I'm very careful to move things back in, so this moves back like so, and splat, and now we've got both oranges in, and you're cooking. How about we try the white and blue? Well, here's a white and blue over here. Is it the right one? Well, let's see. Let's see if this one might actually make sense. And the answer is no. Actually, this white and blue comes over to here. So maybe we should just do that. So I would take this, I'd move it over to here. Now the good news with this, well, not so good news, this will participate with this because it's next to it. So I have to do a couple more bits of repositioning. So I'm going to move this like so. Now I got to move a different piece into here. Now where's that going to come from? Well, let's see. Will it come from here? It can come from here, but remember we're doing a lot of positioning and repositioning, so I need some breadcrumbs to find my way home. This is going to move into here, but I got to put a different piece into here, and that's once again going to come from over here. This is not in, and this is not in, I don't think. So I'm going to move this down like so, and then move this up. So I got to really be careful on finding my way home with this. Remember, moving this back up, that'll be my breadcrumb to get the rest in. So without any further ado, let's move this in, down on the right, slide it to the left, down on the left, back up, turn, turn, and back. Now follow our breadcrumbs back home. This one over here, that's good. This one over here, that's good. And this goes over here. So this is in, and we haven't moved these out. Now from time to time, you might accidentally pull one out. That's all right, just put it back in. So that's over here. How about the other one, the other white, and so that's over here. So let's see how we can position this. This can come over to here. Now, is this one in? Well, we don't really care. Even though it is in, it's not part of our deal yet. So this one is easy. Move it down, swing it to the right, down on the right. Swing it back to the left, up on the left, back to the right, up on the right, splat, and clunk. Okay, so these two are in. Now how about the red and blue? Red and blue, red and blue, right over here. Is that the only red and blue? Well, the only one that we see so far. So let's see how we're going to move this in. Actually, which red and blue is this going to be? Okay, here's a trick actually. I see a red and blue over here. Oh, well, this is easier than I thought. Yeah, so this red and blue can just come into over here. I didn't notice that. So same kind of thing. I can't use this. So I'm going to move this over. However, that's not going to work because I can't use this either. This was taken in. So this is going to require a little more fancy footwork. I got to move something else into this spot to participate with the algorithm. So this is in. Can't use that. These are all in. So this is the fun part because you have to somehow find a way to make it happen. Okay, so I need to move something else into here. Now what about this one? What if I go like 1, 2, and then move them down? So this can be used. I just have to remember to move it back and follow my breadcrumbs back. So let's go ahead and do it. Put it in. Down on the left, slide it to the right. Down on the right, slide it back to the left. Up on the left, slide it back to the right. Up on the right, slide it back. Now I should be able to find my way back home. This will move over here. And this will move over here. And indeed this one did come in. So we are doing well. Red and blue. Red and blue. Where's red and blue? Red and blue. Another red and blue. Right over here. Red and blue. So I can move this around. And let's see where this will come into. Looks like I may have to move them up to here. Yeah. Okay, so I move it up to here and then this will come down over to here. This will participate in it, but we don't care, so this is graciously easy. So down on the right, to the left, down on the left, back to the right, up, back to the left, up, and then back. I often find it amazing that you can do all these moves, but you're not changing any of the other pieces. So this is in, we have one more, and that's yellow and blue. So that's this guy over here. So now that we have the basic technique, this will participate, but we don't care. Down, across, down, back, up, across, up, back, splat. Okay, so we have this part here, and now we've got to get these. And how are we going to do this? Well, the good news is, if you've seen my layer by layer video on a 4-layer puzzle, you already know how to do that. It's the same technique. And what this algorithm is going to do is it's going to take this, put it to here, this will come to here, and this will come to here. It's a pattern of movement that is fairly intuitive. I don't really memorize it, I kind of derive it each time. But the first step is to take a piece that belongs in this layer and see how I have to set it up. So if I move this over here, this will come down to here where it needs to be. Then I take a look at this piece and ask myself, do I want to move this out? And I can, because this doesn't belong in this area here. And the way this is going to work is I move it down here, then I'm going to take this and move it in like so. Now that I've moved it in, I'm going to move it up to the top to get it out of the way. Then here I'm going to do a 2R, where this is lined up here, and then move it down again. I'm going to take this and move it back to reposition it. Now to get this back in, I'm going to once again move it back up, do another 2R, and then bring it down, and this comes up like so. And what that did is it popped it into there. Now, you may want to see an algorithm to that, and honestly, I could write it, maybe I will, but just kind of follow what I'm doing, watch what I'm doing. This wants to come over to here, so same kind of thing, this will be affected, but we don't care. So I'm going to move this down, move it in, and really it's just a matter of bumping this out of the way and replacing it with something just the opposite, which will be over here. So move it up, replace it with this, move it down, bring this back up, and now we move this back up again to get the proper green in, and this comes down, and this moves back down over here. So now this is in. So this is a lot like the substitution technique that we do with the 4x4 with edge placement. I just kind of modified it a little bit for layer by layer. So this guy, is going to come into here. Now, we don't want this to participate, and it will. So what I'm going to simply do is go like this, splat. Now this is in its place, and I do the same thing. I just have to remember to move it back when I'm done. So move it down, put this in its proper edge, line it up with the right edge, bump it out of the way, do a 2R to get it out of the way, then move this down. Once you do that, you then move this back in, and now we get the proper corner back, so move it up, do another 2R, move it back down. That's it. Now we have to get things back where it was, so this comes back up over to here. Now we remember we originally bumped this out of the way, so this simply bumps back. So now this is in. So now we have the second layer, so the third layer. So a little bit tricky there, but able to otherwise do that. So now we have the last layer. Now this is where things can be variable, and the solve that I'm about to do might not have all the different cases. So my hope is that it'll be just as complicated. But the next part is putting these guys in, and that's easy. That's just doing cuboid strategy. You find 2 that's in, you see it over here, and now you just do a corner swap. The corner swap won't affect anything else, it'll just swap these 2. If you don't have 2 in, you just do a random corner swap and you'll get 2 in. 2R U, 2R UI, 2R, UID, 2R UI, 2R U, 2R. This moves back, and look how easy that was. Okay, now to get the rest in, and this is where the 4x4 part becomes an issue, is first we have to rotate these back up. We got super silly easy with this one, because these are already lined up, and now we can just do the simple permutation, rotation algorithm to flip that up. Couldn't have asked for an easier time with this. Way too easy. It's probably not going to happen with that for you, but wouldn't you know it, when I try to demonstrate it, that's when the easiest possibility comes in. So let me just mess with this a little bit to make it a little more challenging. Okay, now I think we have ourselves something of a challenge here. So the first step is we want to rotate all of these right side up. So taking a look at this, I want to kind of match up. Well, I see both of these are rotated upside down, these are upside down, so I can easily just rotate these guys right side up. So I'm going to put these to the side over here and do F, R, U, R, I, U, I, F, I. So this is rotated up, this is rotated up. So I just want to kind of match these guys together here. If I do a corner swap, these 2 are going to swap, and that's going to be in, and these 2 are going to swap. So I'm still going to have 2 that are out. I want to match these up with each other. So I want to gear it or organize it to where when I do a corner swap, I'm going to have these 2 together. So how's that going to work? Well, it would be nice if I had this over here, because then that would work. So I'm going to hold this here and do a SUNY to bring this to here. R, U, R, I, U, R, to U, R, I. So now what's going to happen is these 2 will flip, so the 2 upside down will be next to each other. So these 2 will flip, and then these 2 will flip, which wouldn't change anything. Now, bear something in mind too, it's going to swap these 2 as well. So I'm going to have to coordinate it to another corner swap, which will basically get these back. So let's corner swap this. 2R U, 2R UI, 2R, UID, 2R UI, 2R U, 2R. Move this back. So what this did in essence is it put these 2 together. Now I want to very quickly corner swap this back, but I'm going to move this out of the way so I can put 2 solid ones next to each other or over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move this out of the way over here. I got to get this opposite. Now when I do a SUNY, these don't move, but these do. So if I move this over here, it'll take this out of the way from this guy here. R, U, R, I, U, R, 2, U, R, I. Now why did I do that? I did that because now when I corner swap these here, these 2 will swap, but these 2 are going to swap, so I want this out of the way here. So let's go ahead and do another SUNY. R, U, R, I, U, R, 2, U, R, I. Now I move this back, and now this is out of the way, it's at the left, and these are going to be doing all the swapping. So these 2 will swap, it'll still be permuted right, or rather it'll still be rotated right, and then these 2 will swap. 2R U, 2R UI, 2R. Okay, and so we just swap it back. Okay, so now these are once again back in, these are fine, but we've got a little problem. We've got 4x4 parity. So what we want to do with this 4x4 parity is we want to do the algorithm, the Red Bull algorithm, to turn that around. So no worries, right? We can do that. There's going to be a problem though, so watch what happens. 2R, 2B, 2U, L. 2 up, Ri, 2 up, R, 2 up, 2F, R, 2F, Li, 2B, 2R. It rotated that, but look at this. These here stayed the same. However, the blue went to here. These centers rotated by 1 click clockwise. So the yellow went here, the blue went here, and the white went here, and the green went here. So every time I do a Red Bull algorithm, these 2x2 centers change. So what can I do? How can I coordinate it back? Well, I can keep rotating this back and forth, but I'll never end up with this in the right configuration. If I keep Red Bulling it, eventually this will come around, but when it comes around, it's going to end up with this rotated wrong. So how are we going to get through this? How are we actually going to be able to do this in a way that we can rotate this and not have this out? Well, the way that I would do this is we have to make it to where we get it into this configuration when this blue is over here. Because if it is in this configuration when the blue is over here, then in one fell swoop, this will rotate and this will come up over here. So how are we going to do that? Well, the way that we're going to do that is I'm going to separate this out so that I've got this. I'm going to actually swap these two. So this will be here, and then these will swap as well. So let's do a corner swap. 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R, turn, 2R, UI, 2R, U, 2R, turn this back. Okay, so now we have to remember to swap this back, which we can eventually do. What I'm actually going to do now is when I do Red Bull algorithm, when I do that, these two are going to keep swapping, but it doesn't matter. All that matters is that this is blue, this is up, right side up, and this is upside down. So in that way, this won't really change its configuration. So I'm going to keep doing that until I have this blue right over here. So let's go ahead and Red Bull this until I get the blue here. 2R, 2B, 2U, L. 2 up, Ri, 2 up, R. 2 up, 2F, R. 2F, Li, 2B, 2R. Now notice when I did that Red Bull, it didn't change the configuration. The color here is different because these two swapped, but still one is right side up, one is upside down. So that is how we're going to get through this. So do it again until the blue's over here. Notice every time we do Red Bull, this configuration will still be the same. This one right side up, this one upside down, even though they're flipping. Okay, so this is what I'm looking for. This is exactly what I want. What I wanted is I wanted this configuration, because now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and swap these two. So this kind of got messed up, but that's okay. We can deal with that later. Let's go ahead and swap this back. 2R U, 2R UI, 2R UID, 2R UI, 2R U, 2R. This moves back. Okay, so now this is upside down, this is one off, and now we do that parity algorithm once more, one more Red Bull, and everything will be back. 2R, 2B, 2U, L. 2 up, Ri, 2 up, R, 2 up, 2F, R, 2F, Li, 2B, 2R, and there you have it. These are all fine, and this is all fixed. This is one of those things where I would have no way of anticipating that this would be an issue unless I actually tried the solve, because I can't really anticipate every aspect that's going to happen with this. Now notice these came out in the process. We're going to easily put this back in. I do a random corner swap to get it back in. Now I could try to coordinate. Well, we'll just do a random corner swap. 2R U, 2R UI, 2R UID, 2R UI, 2R U, 2R. This moves back. This moves to the left. And now I want to corner swap this. When I corner swap it, this yellow will come in and these will all be in. Now, something to bear in mind, might as well put this over here, is why don't I try to coordinate these at the same time as this? So I'm looking over here, and if I can corner swap the correct ones in two, I can maybe solve, I can place these at the same time. These two are in, and these two are in. If I can match these two with these two, then I can get both at the same time. And the way that's going to happen is that if I do SUNY, this will move around, the outer ones, but the inner ones won't. So why don't I put this to the side, this anywhere but here, and move it until it's over to here. R, U, R, I, U, R, to U, R, I. It's not there yet. R, U, R, I, U, R, to U, R, I. Now you can see these are lined up. So if I do a corner swap, this will come to here, this will come to here, and everything will be fine. However, if I corner swap this red one is over here. So we're still out of sorts. What I need to do in this case is I need to reconfigure these. And the way that I'm going to do that is let's do an adjacent edge swap. An opposite edge swap. Because what I really need to do is I need to get this yellow one here to join with this. So 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U. Now notice it caused misplacement here and here, but don't worry about that. Now when I did that, it did cause this to go in a different place, but I've reconfigured this. So now I got to do it again. Let's take this red, bring it back here, and do my RU, RU, R2, RI until this white once again finds its way to here. RU, RIU, R2U, RI. Is it there yet? Nope. RU, RIU, R2U, RI. Okay, now it's here. Now notice this yellow will join this red will join this. So I'm going to go ahead and do a corner swap, which will get all these back in. It'll join the outer and the inner, and we'll go ahead and basically reduce these edges. 2R U, 2R UI, 2R UID, 2R UI, 2R U, 2R, and look at what you did. These are all fine, and don't panic about this misplacement, because now I'm just going to do a simple adjacent edge swap to get all this back. 2R to U, 2R to U, 2R to U. So a little bit of strategy, and we were able to get all of these guys reduced. Now we're not quite done yet. We still have to line these up with each other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for one outer and one inner that's in. If I don't find any, that's okay. I'll hold it here. SUNYs will make these rotate all around. These will stay the same. So one is going to join, or two. R, U, R, I, U, R, 2, U, R, I. So this is joined. And if this were the only one, then I'd hold it over here, do RU, RU, R2, RI until all the rest are joined. But we have a problem. The problem is that we have two. So if I SUNY, I'm always going to have two in and two out. So this is a parity. The way to get out of this parity is, well, let's go ahead and put the let's go ahead and put two that are in opposite each other. That's how this is going to work. So RU, RIU, R2U, RI. This stays the same. Now we're rotating these around until I get the red one in here. RU, RIU, R2U, RI. This is in and this is in. These two are now out. We're going to deal with that last. We're going to reduce these last. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get the corners in. So to get the corners in, let's go ahead and find which one is in already. This one. So I'm going to do the corner rotating algorithm from beginner's method to get all these in. U, R, UI, LI, U, RI, UI, L. Really a variation of the sliding U technique. This is in, this is in. These are all in. So now I'm just going to do RIDI, RD until these are rotated right. RIDI, RD, RIDI, RD. Move this in. RIDI, RD. Move this in. RIDI, RD. Okay, so here's what you've got. These two have to be swapped. And now you have to do one final algorithm, and I would have gone through every parity type situation of your layer by layer super circle cube solve. And this is a variation of the URF algorithm. What you do, and this will help you with any type of supercube situation where you have to rotate these without rotating the center. Because that's what's going to happen if you do a strict URF algorithm, these will rotate. The way that this is going to work is you do a middle UI, then R, Fi, then U, Ri, F. Then do a middle U, and then do a middle Di, then finish it up with Fi, R, Ui, then F, RI, and a middle D, and you're done. Did it. So there you have it, a layer by layer solve I always like because it has a couple of little nuances on any puzzle. Supercube makes it all the more difficult, especially when it's a sequential puzzle like this real 4x4, the crazy 4x4 version 2. But that's how you do it layer by layer. And again, I welcome you to try. I actually went through every type of potential parity situation that you can get with that. So it's a very fun alternative solve with this. If you would like to know the AI version of the solve, if you want to know the AI way of doing it, then I welcome you to go to that link as well. Otherwise, thanks for watching.